Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Samantha and I make videos on minimalism, my no buy low buy lifestyle, productivity and budgeting. And today I wanted to do a really casual video to update you on my quest on our quest, me and my husband. We're looking to buy a house in London and it is tough. It is proving really tough. Now, to give you some context, we got married in late 2019 and since then we've been aggressively saving for a deposit. We are now touching £40,000 and I actually made a video last week on the 40 ways we save £40,000, which I'll link in the cards above and also in the description below. But even with that deposit, which I think is fairly substantial, we are struggling. We are really struggling. I really do think with the amount of money that we have saved up and with our budget, we would have been able to find something easily anywhere else in the UK. But London is its own beast and it's really difficult to find a house. And also there is not that much choice out there. We are looking every day at Rightmove. If you don't live in the UK, Rightmove is one of the main websites where they list all the houses that are up for sale. And honestly, people just hang on to good houses for dear life. I mean, my parents do the same. Their house is brilliant and I don't think we're going to be selling it for the next couple of generations. So I guess everybody else feels the same way. Now I'm going to quickly run through our criteria of what we are looking for. I don't want to go into our exact budgets or anything like that. I don't think Andrew, my husband, would be very comfortable with that. And I don't know that I would be very comfortable with that because once you start giving concrete figures on the internet, you can't take it back. So for now, we're just going to go with criteria other than our budget. So I want to be close to I've got my phone here, so that's what I'm looking at. I want to be close to my mum. Unfortunately, my parents live in a fairly well-off area. Now, this was not the case when they first bought the house. It was like an up-and-coming area and it's come up. So essentially, it's now really expensive to live in. So there's no way we can buy a house that's super close to my mum, but I want to be within a half-an-hour drive away from her. The next thing that I want is we want good transport links into central London because I obviously work in London. Right now with the lockdown, we're working from home, but lockdown will eventually ease and I will need to start going back into the office. The third thing that we want is at least 700 square feet, which actually isn't a lot of space, but it's generous enough for Andrew and myself. And the next thing we want is a nice suburban area, a nice neighborhood. And finally, we want a minimum of 2 bedrooms. It's actually really hard to find something that fulfills all of the criteria. Initially, I wanted to be only a 20-minute drive away from my mum, but one of the compromises that we've made is that I've agreed to be a 30-minute drive away from my mum, but we still can't find anything. There's always a huge compromise to be made, either on space or on the area, and it's just something that we don't really want to do, especially when you're investing so much money. We're talking hundreds of thousands of pounds here and we're going to end up taking quite a big mortgage out as well. So it's a huge financial responsibility and you don't just want to go into it and buy something that you're not going to enjoy living in. We've also looked at Help to Buy. I know a lot of people are very interested in Help to Buy. We've not completely ruled it out, but there are some major cons about Help to Buy that I feel people should be aware of. I've got some notes here. So with Help to Buy, you are limited to new build properties, which is great because you get a really swanky high finish, but that also means that they're priced at a premium and they do fall in value. So the next customer who tries to buy it, they'll probably try and negotiate you down. Now that's fine if the market rises, but what if the market doesn't rise significantly by the time that you want to move out? Also, you're unable to rent out your Help to Buy flat. So for example, if Andrew and I bought a flat and we used Help to Buy, we wouldn't be able to rent it out if we decided we wanted to upgrade to a house and we couldn't sell that flat. The next thing is, if we bought a flat, we'd have to pay ground rent and service charge, and they aren't always fixed. The landlord, the freeholder, who kind of owns the land on which your flat is built on, can increase those amounts. Again, as I said, it might be hard to sell them on. It might be hard to sell them on because the 2-bedroom flats that we're looking at, the kind of prospective buyers who would end up buying those 2-bedroom flats would also be young professionals and people looking to start a family. So they might end up wanting like a 3-bedroom house or a 2-bedroom house with a little bit of outside space. So we really niche down our market onto like potential when it comes to potential buyers. And then the last thing is you have to pay the government back. So with the Help to Buy, the government gives you up to 20% of the value of your property. Your mortgage makes up the rest, and you only need to put down 5% deposit. And although it sounds really, really good, it's not free money. After 5 years, you need to either pay that money back through interest. The interest is very reasonable for the first couple of years, but then it really starts to rack up. And in addition to not only your mortgage payments, but also your service charge and your ground rent, and then you've got this additional amount of money to pay off, it could start to really, really rack up. You just need to be betting that you are going to be earning more money, which hopefully we will do, but you never know what happens. I mean, who could have predicted the coronavirus? Granted, luckily neither of us have lost our jobs, but it could have happened. One of our industries could have been affected. So I'm not sure that I feel comfortable to take on that level of risk when it comes to Help to Buy. But again, I've not completely ruled it out. The next thing that's causing me anxiety is how uncertain the market is. So obviously we had Brexit. We finally made it out of Europe earlier this year. I'm not saying that I wanted to get out of Europe, by the way, if my choice of words hints at that. Certainly not. I was very keen on staying in Europe, but you know, it is what it is. We are out now, and because of Brexit we kind of delayed looking for a house, but now we have coronavirus and they say that the market might crash. Well, not crash really, they don't think it's going to crash, but they do think that house prices might fall by 5%, which is a significant amount. And if that is the case, then Andrew and I will be able to afford houses that we can't currently afford. So should we hang tight, even though I'm super impatient to get out? Should we just wait and see what happens at the end of the year? And I think that's probably what we will do, but I'm so impatient, guys. It's really tough. Within context, obviously, you know my circumstances, they're pretty good, so I can't really say it's been tough and really mean it. We both have our jobs, we both have a place to stay, we don't have to pay rent, we've saved a lot of money, so it's all good in that way. But in terms of buying a house, it's probably been one of the toughest things I've ever embarked on. I really didn't expect it to be this tough, if I'm honest with you. It's on a par with trying to find a new job. The feelings that it brings up are kind of similar to that. So I think the plan is keep an eye on the market. If there's anything that we like, we will snap it up if we can. I mean, we talk about snapping it out, but it is a long drawn out process to buy a house. You like the house, you put in an offer, you may have competing bids because it's London. That could be very likely. And then if your offer is accepted, it's about 8 weeks until contracts are exchanged. And there's also the additional cost of not only buying the house, but you have to think about stamp duty. Now, stamp duty is a tax that you pay to the government. Because my husband and I are first-time buyers, for the first £300,000, we don't have to pay any tax. But anything over the £300,000, we have to pay 5% tax on that. So depending on how expensive your house is, that could be very substantial. We also have to pay conveyancer fees. Conveyancer is another word for a property solicitor. And then we also have to pay for a surveyor. So you have all of these additional costs, which could mount up to about 10 grand. Oh, and also I should mention about the impact that this has had on our emergency fund plans. Because of the coronavirus, I really wanted to save about 10 to 12 grand by the end of this year, in addition to our deposit. But unfortunately, our relatives were struggling and we had to give up, or we decided to give up some of our deposit to help them. Now, this has had a huge impact on our deposit and my plans for the emergency fund. 10 to 12 grand would have given Andrew and I a comfortable breathing space of 6 months if anything were to happen to any of our jobs or our personal circumstances, but that's not going to happen. So that's another slight blow, but you know, these things happen. We just have to roll with the punches, and after we buy the house is when I'll have to embark on trying to get together an emergency fund and trying to form some kind of plan. But that's the update as it is. I hope you guys found this insight interesting. I personally enjoy it when creators talk about their personal circumstances and what they're doing with their budgets. If this goes down well, I might do more detailed, in-depth budgeting videos. We'll see how that goes, because obviously my finances are tied in with Andrew's, and again, I don't know how comfortable he will be with how much I want to share. But we'll see. I mean, I'm also not sure about how comfortable I will be, so it's not all Andrew. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was nice to talk to you about it, and I'll keep you informed, and if we do finally ever move out, you will know. Until next time, bye.